Okay, so this is the 7 classes, and some of you are catching this on the replay, so I really appreciate your dedication to that, as I imagine your own business will really appreciate your dedication to doing the steps. So, you know, we don't want to see this as work, but it's play. Like, it's important. It's part of what you do in your business, is to really go through and clear what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about things, because they say there's research out there, is 80% of your business, how you're feeling about things. You're just not going to pick up on the opportunities. You're just not going to see things at all. Okay, so here we go. And again, this is my Christmas gift, and it's designed to weed out the toxic emotions and those feelings that you have right now in the way of you creating a life and a business that you love to look at. Now, here's the thing too, guys, like, you could be feeling great one day and the next day you could wake up, and this isn't just women, it's men as well. You can just get a hit out of nowhere. You might not have slept well. You get, you might pick up on some energy from someone else. Someone might not be happy about something. And suddenly your business energy can really get sucked. So this is, we're just sort of working on doing this work that is really a joy. We're going to see it as a joy as we get to know ourselves and as we get to create. It's coming from the energy of joy. And, obviously it's much better to think of it like that. So we've got 7 steps, and we're up to the last one. This is allowance. And just to run through them again, you need a clear picture. Who's got a clear picture? Just put in the chat. I just want to follow this. Are you really clear on your picture? We're going to go through this at the end just to make sure and clean it up. Do you have a strong desire for it? Are you like, oh my God? And desire's not that, we're not talking about desire, guys. We're not talking about desire on power versus forced desire. We're not talking about David Hawkins. Sorry, it's a very dirty book, so I've got dirty hands on this all the time, just picking it up, looking at it all the time. Desire's really low down on the map of consciousness. Desire's like, oh, I've got to get that car. Oh, I've got to be as good as everyone else. Oh, I want more money. That is not the desire we're talking about. The desire is that feeling when you look at someone in the eyes and you just desire to be with them. Maybe it's your child, maybe it's your beloved, maybe it's a friggin' piece of chocolate cake. We want this vision to be like, oh, I just love that. And if we think about it, when we're thinking about wanting to increase our income or buy a better house or get more clients in our business, we're not doing that, oh, I just love that. We're going, oh, geez, I really love that. I really hope that works out for me. So can you see it? This desire that we're talking about, it's like wanting, I don't want to sort of plant chocolate cake in your head, but, it's just really looking at the sparkling ocean and thinking, I would just love to get in that water. This is the energy of desire that we're talking about. And you have to have a belief that it's possible. You have to absolutely believe, yep, I could totally see myself as that woman doing that work in the world and being that person who has got total abundance. I'm not worried about the next bill. In fact, I've got money left over to give to causes that I would absolutely love to give to causes. Number 4, you must accept yourself and your new belief as true. It means remember we went through that. It was a lot of self-love. It's like, yeah, this is absolutely true. I can totally accept that this is the truth. It's like, I believe it, but then it's in your body. You're just loving yourself. You accept that you really are good enough, that you really are good enough to be that person. The 5th one is you must engage your willpower. And this is a universal spiritual concept. God's not going to do anything for us. That's just not the way it works. We've got to bring our willpower. That's why we've been given willpower. It's a God-given thing. Otherwise, things would just get organized for us. We wouldn't get the growth. We wouldn't get that deep knowing that we are that person. It's like, not letting your kids do any jobs. And then you end up with lazy kids who have got no place in the world. It's about the willpower. We've got to do the job. We've got to have the willpower that even just to prove sometimes that we deserve it and that that's for us. And what I find with clients a lot, and I've had it in my own life, you'll get a little challenge and we don't freak out and go, oh, Jen, I've got another block on this. What it is like, all right, it's not that we're being tested. We're digging into our torsos a bit deeper. We're going, okay, I've got the willpower for this. That feels like a really bad situation. The marketing's not working. Something's happened with a client. something's happened with my family. It looks like I'm not going to be able to work on my business this week. You know, if we dig in a bit of willpower, perhaps we can. Perhaps the things shift a bit and we can kind of slip through. So that's the willpower energy. We can't just go, oh, well, you see, I think I'm going to start in January now. Or that's it. That just proves that I'm not meant to be doing that. And, you know, maybe I should go and do this instead. Maybe not. If we engage the willpower, maybe we'll find a way through. And the sixth one is behave. That's what we did last week or on Monday. We've just got to behave like it's already here. Like, get around with the posture. Maybe you need to buy yourself, you know, one piece of new clothing to show that you're behaving as a person who's got that. I love paying invoices, even if I'm worried about my own invoices getting paid. I behave as if those invoices are going to get paid. Sure enough, ping, ping, people pay me because I've bravely gone ahead and invested in something, or, you know, I've been brave about my security, knowing that my business is growing. It's a really good thing to adopt too. You know, if you're worried about money, pay a bill, even if it's just a little one, just to send that message like, money's coming for me, I can catch up with that bill. So really, you know, don't hold on, behave like you're the person who already has those things. You know, if it's a weight loss thing, we all know this, you behave like you're that slim person on the beach, you know, getting around feeling really, really gorgeous, and suddenly, funnily enough, you start to lose weight. It's just the way it works. And number 7, this is one we're doing, and this could be, I don't want to see this for you, but this could be the biggest challenge of all. And this is to let go. This is surrender everything about it and almost have no expectations of how it will come together. So in other words, we're going to let the universe take care of the details. We're going to have the intensity of the willpower, the vision, the desire, the behaving, all that stuff, but without the expectation that it's going to come from that person, from that funnel, from that opportunity. Does that make sense? We're just really letting it go. We're showing up, shining, and letting that part of it go. Okay, so now you've got the clear vision and you're fully connecting to desiring that vision strongly, and you've weeded out some of those stuck beliefs, not just yours, but remember, it's the perceptions of other people. Remember, they can really stitch us up. We're so fragile to what other people think about us, and we don't want to kind of lose that, because that's our humanity, but we want to kind of track through and just clear it now and then and go, hey, I'm going to get a few people out of my beliefs, out of my energy field. I've got to get a few thought forms off me, because I'm really going to believe in this for myself. And I just want that little break to see what happens. And you have to accept that this belief is true, which you've done. In testing, most of you have done this. And you have to have the intention to have consistent, focused attention. You just keep focusing on it. Bad day, too bad, there's got to be something you can do. There's got to be something you can do towards it. You get up, you go, I'm going to keep that dream. I'm going to do one thing towards it. Even if you're thrown off track. So you are behaving like it's already here, and next we have allowance. Okay, so you have to have the intensity of what you want with absolutely no attachment. So this is a paradox, because how do you have the intensity without expectation? It goes against the rules of mindset and the strategy of goal setting, especially when it comes to business. So this is kind of against everything. And often people don't teach you this. They just go, yeah, push, 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 push. And, you know, we see it in a lot of masterminds. We see it in a lot of coaching groups and things like that, where people just end up exploding. Or what they can do is go too much into the masculine. So they push, 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 and they're not leaving space for something really beautiful to come in, because they're always holding on so much. So you see these people who turn everything into gold. And you wonder, how do they do it so effortlessly? Like, how do they do it? And these are the guys you see like, man, how did that happen for you? So now it's your turn. So many of you might doubt this step if you've been completely focused on your goal and obsessed with it working out, and you aren't doing what it takes to succeed. So, you know, you can get really, really stuck on this. So let's see if we can clear that. So how many of you have mistaken constant drive and determination as the only way to get there? And most importantly, how many of you are measuring your worth by what you achieve? So this is a little healing piece that we're going to get today. You are not a measure of what you achieve. You're just not. I mean, you can feel better about the things that you're achieving. You know you're being your best self and you're working towards it. but you're still valuable either way. You're still valuable either way. So that's what we're going to look at. So here's the thing, your value is no different if you achieve this goal or not. So your worthiness is completely unconnected to what you're trying to manifest. So how does that sit with you? So I just want you to imagine that for a moment. You are completely loved and accepted just as you are right now. There is actually nothing you need to prove to do that. So if that is the truth, how does that make you feel when you think about your goal? Does it take the pressure off it having to happen? And in a way, in the way that you want to do it, if it, the way you want it to turn out. So I want you to just write down, because a lot of this is just sort of writing. We've got the circuit open, so you should be able to find it really easy to write. How does that feel to you now if you didn't achieve it in the eyes of God or the eyes of the universe or in your own eyes even, that you are still 100% valuable? So just write that down for me. Just start to write that down. So just write that down, what that feels like. And if anyone wants to share, does anyone want to share anything on that? I'd love to hear what you've got to say on that. Who wants to share? Put your hand up or just unmute and just share. I'd love to know how that feels for you. If you didn't achieve it, how does it make you feel that you are completely 100% loved and held? What does that feel like for you? Is anyone going to share what that concept brings up for them? Who's brave to share that? Okay, so let's clear some of the toxic emotions and pain that you may have stored about this, blocking you realizing this truth. So, we're gonna clear this. We've all come into the world and we've all got this this innate feeling of unworthiness. It's sort of part of our humanity. So part of this is just kind of really recognizing that even if we don't do this amazing vision, even if we don't get this platform across the world, even if we don't transform all these people and make this much income, we are still 100% valuable, just as we are. So let's look at that and let's clear that. Okay, I've got the word dishonesty. So I want you to write down dishonesty. What is dishonest? What feels dishonest to you? Do you feel dishonest? Does it feel dishonest if you're not going to create this? Just give me that, write that down. So just write down, what does the emotion dishonesty bring up for you? I've got dishonesty again. So there's more to write on dishonesty. I just got that emotion twice. So dig deep. If anyone needs a clue to understand more what dishonesty could mean, just unmute or put your hand up and let me know.
I need a clue, Jen.
Everyone needs a clue. Okay, just got to mute you, Sharon, because you've got your sound flicking through Hannah's one. Okay, so let's have a look. I'll get a clue for everybody and see if that helps. This is the clue that should relate to everyone. I've got the word music therapy. What does that make you think of? Music therapy. Tell me what that makes you think of. Music. The feeling of music. What does that make you think of to do with dishonesty? You want to share what that could mean? Joe, what do you think that means to you, music therapy? Music.
Well, when the dishonesty came up, the first thing that came to me was confused. So I really am having trouble trying to get anything in relation to dishonesty and music. I mean, music is a way of just being lighthearted and free and happy, I think. And I don't know, maybe...
What I know about you is if you're feeling lighthearted, free and happy, you don't feel like you're working.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to...
So to you, unless you're feeling, it's dishonest for you to not feel that. So we've got to clear that because, you'd imagine I've got a bit goosebumpy on that too. Like if you're feeling lighthearted and free because you've decided that you can absolutely let this go, you're not going to not work on it. You're just going to let it go and be that lighthearted, free person. You're not being an honest worker. Like it's not going to work. And we know you've got a deeply ingrained work ethic, the honest worker, because also you've got the humanitarian archetype, which is all about the common man, the honest worker, like in the field at harvest time, not sitting on the fence watching everyone work. So this is a great one for you to clear.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
So what about, does that make sense to you, Sharon? What did you get from music therapy? And maybe just make sure that hopefully, let's try your sound and see if it works. Or just put in the chat if it's too echoey.
Nothing is coming up for me because what I was going to say initially was when I had a business I loved and so enjoyed, when I had to close it down, I was so disillusioned and felt that I was a failure in all areas of my life. And it took me a very long time to get over this. And I would say in most part, thanks to you, I could still see that I could not achieve my goal and still be a valuable person. But am I being dishonest with myself about saying that? And that if it does happen, who knows how I'll really feel.
Yeah, and I want to know, what does music therapy mean to you with that?
Well, music is kind of a therapy for me, and lots of the music that I listen to are solfeggio tones and other kinds of helpful things to just give me subliminal messages and help while I'm creating things. So to me, the music I'm listening to right now is therapy, and I like music. And so
yeah, I think that, this is very deep. Not only because I've worked with you, I can kind of probably go a bit deep like this, and I kind of can because I kind of know your pattern and we've done a bit of work. I'm wondering if, the thing that jumped out when you talked about the subliminal music, I think with you, you had to kind of get through that breakdown of the failed business, the creative business that you had, through subliminally kind of keeping yourself alive. And when you think about subliminal messages, they're not really real. They're man-made. They're kind of like brainwashing in a way, aren't they?
yes.
And so in a way, it's dishonest. They're not dishonest. They're fine. They're a fine tool to use. But it's almost like you had to do it. You had to kind of tell yourself that to get through that pain. And we know that there was a lot of generational programs behind that. There was a lot of all sorts of trauma behind that business failing. But that doesn't mean to say the next one will. But can you see, you almost had to kind of program yourself to get through that. That's what I'm getting with the music therapy. And this time you might not. You can maybe just decide that, okay, it's this or something better. I'm still going to use my willpower. I know you've got health issues, so, you're always going to do your best with the willpower that you've got. You're not going to slam yourself against the wall. But this is a good one because you also get to surrender it. And you don't have to kind of dishonestly tell yourself that you're going to. It's like maybe you just can this time. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think because I have been ill and really for the last 3 weeks I've been extremely ill, and I not really been working. So how do I want to say this? So for me, I can still, I do feel like I can still value who I am, and the illness in and of itself puts limitations on me. So it kind of makes me know that I cannot use my sheer willpower and determination to get things done. If, I will be guided to do what needs to be done on a regular basis, and I trust that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear that you've been not well the last 3 weeks too, and I know that the challenge, there'll be a lot of energy at the moment for you as well, just because of the way you're wired. But the other thing is, with this patterning that we're doing with the 7 steps, is you're just going to do your best from now on.
Right.
You're just going to do your best. And if it's like a couple of emails, it's a couple of calls, it's just going in at night when you've got some energy and double checking the platform that you're working with, that's all you're doing, because God's going to take care of the details. But what you've done in the past, what you've done in the past, and we've talked about it, you've fallen in a heap and going, what am I meant to be doing in life? What can I do? And it's like, we're just going to be guided now. You show up where you can and you just be guided.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I'm on that page finally.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that, because you've got so much to offer, and just you are enough. You're enough. So, just you being alive and with us is enough. And you can make some money doing that the idea that you've been working on. So it should be nice. And anyone who meets you is blessed. That's it. Bottom line, nothing more to add. So let me just get your next emotion for everyone. So if you'd like to just mute, that would be great. I've got burdened. So can you guys write down how you're feeling burdened about this feeling that perhaps you're not valuable? How are you feeling burdened?
Hey, Jen?
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know what's going on, but neither of these words I'm resonating with it. Like I can't find either of them. So the only thing I could pull from dishonesty was earlier in the year, where I felt like I didn't like encountering it in my breakthrough calls. And I also felt earlier in the year I felt burdened, but I certainly don't now. I feel pretty clear. So if you...
Well, let's clean that up. I'm not getting... I think you're right. I think it's from the past, but let's just clean that up, because we're just kind of clearing the whole pattern of how you work.
Okay.
So, the brain remembers it. Just so you've kind of processed it. Remember, we're doing the tapping and the process that I'm using. We're filing things properly so they're not in the way. So, you don't also there have to react to that too, because, with, you're still the maverick, aren't you? You're still
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, the maverick's going to react to stuff that you've done before. What we've got to watch out with the maverick in business is they do the shiny object thing. So go, well, that process didn't work. I'm not doing that. Well, this one worked. This one didn't. I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is what they often do. So what we want to do is we want to take the best of what you learned before, when, it felt a bit dishonest, some of the process at the time. There'll be a thread of that to take through, and there'll be a thread of the burdened part of having to follow that process that wasn't quite in alignment with you, perhaps. You'll be a thread to take through. So when we process it, you'll get the good of that, and you'll be able to take it through rather than react and move away. And then you might end up delaying where you're going if you can't bring it all through. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yes.
So we're just processing it in the brain. So we're not reaction. When we're in reaction, we're using energy and we're not kind of in flow. So we go, actually, there's a really good thing about that. What's good about the breakthrough calls too? Denise, I was having a brainstorm with Russ Ruffino about this on Saturday. You'll be proud to know. The good thing about the breakthrough call is that in human design, we've all got this human design, and there's an aspect in the breakthrough call where where someone has to give you permission to talk to them. Okay, so in the human design, that is the projector. So they need to be invited. So you might not be a projector, but in the human design, all humans have got this design. So there'll be a percentage of the population that we all have within us, because remember, we're all part of each other, where people need to invite you to go into their lives. And that's exactly what a breakthrough call is. Someone calls you up, they filled out the form, I've got this problem, that problem, that problem. They come to the call, they've invited you to go in there as the doctor. Now, you can't do that necessarily from an email necessarily. You can't do that necessarily from a Facebook ad. You can't necessarily even do that from a webinar, but you can do it from a breakthrough call. So when you've got that understanding of that they've invited you to give them advice, or, obviously it's not ideal to just give advice, but to really dig into their problem, that's a gift. So, we can take the essence of these things and we can, formulate them into a really good aligned business strategy for ourselves. So it's just a little bit of a sideline on that. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so just mute up, and anyone want to share what they had for burden? Anybody got anything on burden that they want to share? When you all share, we all learn, and I'm grateful for you all sharing.
I feel like I've got this kind of juxtaposition going on in sense of, on one level, I feel like I believe something, and then when you say something, another answer just comes to mind. So, for example, with burdened, I had a sense of feeling burdened by having to do stuff all the time to prove my value, and therefore feel burdened, which seems to bring up this sense of apathy as well. But then at the beginning, I was thinking, no, I do feel like I'm, that I'm loved and accepted no matter what happens with this.
This is what thank you so much for sharing, Joy, because this is what we're doing in these classes, guys. We think something, and when we dig deeper, there's a little invisible block sitting there. And we're just clearing out the nervous system, the energetic pathways. We're just getting back into alignment, so there's less energy. You might be thinking, yeah, I feel really light, I've given it away, but in the back of the mind, we got this other stuff going on that we're not even aware of. So this is what this process, we just get this opportunity to kind of pull out a few hairs that need to be pulled out. Okay, so let's flip it. So if you want to just mute again, let's flip it. And thanks for sharing. Can you guys see how we are always these conflicting ideas? We get around with all these conflicting ideas that we're not even clear that we're having. So this is what we're doing when we're doing this process. We just want to make it easy. We're only human. Okay, so let's looking for your first one. Okay, I've got outstanding. Instead of dishonesty, I've got outstanding. For some reason we need that word. How are you feeling outstanding? What's outstanding about you? What's this energy? What's outstanding about the work that you can create when you really let go? What's outstanding? So just write down what that brings up for you. And I've got the word influence. I love this, guy. So, there's a whole lot of words here and I don't pick them, they pick you. So we've got outstanding influence. I want you to write about influence, what that word means to you, what it would feel like to have outstanding influence. So not pushed on people, not this, not that, just an outstanding influence on people from that kind of place of alignment, what that would feel like. So just write for me a couple of paragraphs. Just write that. And anyone like to share, let me know. Love to hear. Anyone got something on what this outstanding influence? And guys, you may not quite be feeling it yet. That's what we're going to do the clearing on. So at this point, it's a concept. You might not have the full feeling of it. Okay, what we've got here, Deb?
Yeah, I was just going to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to say, it's so funny because a couple of days ago, I was collaborating with a musician and I told him, I see myself as being an influencer of influencers. And so it's so funny that you said that, outstanding influence. And then this morning I was driving and I was just kind of meditating and I realized, wow, like I started to see the scope of how much I could touch people. And it just made me say like, okay, forget about the money. I just want to start just sharing this message, because I'm starting to see just how much it can impact so many people. And I just want to start going into like high schools and, fairs and libraries, and just doing free trainings and like just getting the word out there.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I think I've been holed up too much trying to just go about, following funnels and saying, okay, I'll get to doing the volunteer work after my funnel works, but now I think I want to flip it. And like, I just feel really confident after everything I've gone through in the past year that nothing is going to stop, like take me out. And I just want to just go share the message and just spread it more, because I feel like it could have a huge impact.
Yeah, and I've got to feel, my feeling is that there's a little bit of an energy towards this next year where people are just going to plant a whole lot of seeds. You have got a funnel dialed in on some level. I imagine you've still got one. And we got, the other thing is, just watch this. We do this in the program that I do. We just got to watch the mindset of, I'll do it anyway. It doesn't matter about the money. We just got to watch that. We don't say that out loud, okay? Because then we can set up a whole pathway around that. But we can let go having to be rewarded right now financially for something.
Yes.
That is a whole different energy. But we know, we've written the goal, what the financial goal is. We've got it really clear what it feels like to be that woman that makes that much money and has that much to give. But right now, my focus is on, spreading the love or spreading the message to create a financial reward. You could just say it that way, but not necessarily to get paid for that now. Does that make sense? So, but I really noticed there seems to be an energy for next year is to just spread a lot of seeds, just spread the love, because it can track into that a little bit. Feels like that's the energy for next year for many people. So,
well, all I was going to say was just because the beginning you said almost no expectation of how it will come together. And I think for me, a lot of it was I was trying to figure out how things were going to come together. And I think it was holding me in a certain place, which is fine. But now I think I'm ready to just I don't really care how it comes together. I'm just going to go out and spread this message.
Yeah, and you know about funnels, you know about marketing, you know about pricing, you know how to run a group. You're from corporate, you know how to lead, so all that stuff's just there. But the other thing that I was just thinking about you is you spent your life spreading the news. You were trained in that, you were born into that, you've got generational programs around that. So why would business not be any different, I guess? So it would just be like, spread the love, get into halls, get into rooms, get into Facebook, like everywhere, and just spread the message, because that's what you're born for. And then, you've got a business that can light you up. You still lock and load that, so it can start to create as well. Okay, well, thanks. Does that make sense? Thanks for sharing. That was awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so guys, let's flip this. So we're just going to make sure that you're all muted. I'll just make sure you're muted so you can't hear each other. And just say, my goal for this balance is outstanding influence. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine the goal after healing, what it's going to feel like. And then we're going to flip, if you've got glasses, flip them off, bunch up your fingers, and we take face to the front. As you can see, we pull our eyes around. It's really good for the liver actually doing this, guys. Really good for the liver. You'll know how cranky your liver is when it's a little bit sore. It's not really fluid. If that's the case, go and have a green juice. Do not have raw kale. Do not have raw spinach, raw silver beet. Otherwise you'll throw your thyroid out, but it can have some spinach and different vegetables, but not silver beet. Not broccoli, not raw broccoli. Just greens without the broccoli, kale and silver beet. There you are. I've just stacked greens into your eyes for you, which is great. Just a little bit of added vitality there. Okay, so how did that feel? It probably felt a little bit awkward, so really thinking about that, if it felt awkward. And then we're going to do 2 ages. I've got 2 ages for you. So conception to birth, birth to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 15, 16. What's happening at 16? Have a think about it, dig a bit deep to what could be happening at 16. Just write it down. Till we write it out, oh yeah, that's when I was really bullied, didn't know what I was doing, whatever you write down. Was told that I had to work really hard and I had to work it all out about what I was going to do in my life. I had a particular career pathway that had to happen. I watched my father work really hard, whatever you want to write down for 16. And when you're ready, I want you to put your hand on your forehead, and you know how it rolls. We're going to go straight down the midline, straight down that meridian from the top, from the throat. And we start at the top and go to the bottom. We're kind of clearing it out. So breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in. 16 and breathing out. And in and out. And normal breathing. And just accept that's what it was like for you at 16. Just you can say it out loud. Yeah, that's what it was like for me at 16. If you're not 41 yet, just imagine 41. What was happening at 41 for you? Was it heavy? Was it a heavy? I'm feeling it was like a heavy time. It was hard. It was heavy. Life had to be worked out. You had to do things a certain way. What was happening at 41? You had to do things the way other people did it. Society was the boss. What was happening at 41? Pays to write it down. So just write everything down. When you're ready, put your hand on your forehead and we're tapping down and breathing in and breathing out. And in and out. And normal breathing. And just accept, yeah, that's what it was like for me. That's what it was like for me. Okay, and so now say, I now choose, I have outstanding influence, or just outstanding influence. I accept and retain the benefits of this balance. I now know and believe that I have outstanding influence. Okay, let's move on. So this is your meeting with love. This is the all-encompassing love that can take you and your business to the next level. And the mindset is, guys, there is no arriving. There's no arriving. So, you know, for Sharon, for instance, there's no arriving at success. You're just going to flow. You're just going to do a few things that you can do. If you've got a lot of health, you're going to smash it. There's no arriving. You know, you can arrive at little milestones and little sign, you know, income signposts, but there's no arriving. You'll find that if you have that mindset, I watch this with people, they get to, you know, the 10,000 or 20,000 or 50 or 100,000, whatever they're trying to do. And then it sabotages because they've arrived. So we have these goals, and it's good to have these things to sort of vibe towards, but there's no arriving. There's always another level of growth and love and inspiration and content and creativity. When you're in this mindset, you're never afraid you're going to come up with any content, or that you can come up with a new email or a new program or a new client, because you're never arriving. There are only infinite possibilities of you. And in this spacious knowing, there's no rush. So really just sort of think about that. Okay, you need to allow yourself to be okay with whatever happens when you completely do the first 6 steps. So there's no point in not doing the 6 steps and just going, oh, look, I'm all detached now, it's going to work out. No, you've got to have the vision. You've got to all those 6 things. But be detached as you can about the business of showing up. So you've got to be detached as you go about your business of showing up. Perhaps there's a greater plan, a greater goal, and you've been hanging on too tight to see the tip of the iceberg. So let's double check the 7 steps. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to say these statements And just feel it, just when you say them, I want you to write down if it feels like a yes or a no. Okay, so just close your eyes and say, I can now see, know, and feel my vision. I can now see, know, and feel my vision. You can say what you wrote, what your vision is in words. You can say this platform, this client, this way of working, this way of being. And then just write down, is that a yes or a no? Is that a yes or a no? I've got you all as a yes, the people on the call here, which is pretty cool. So I have a strong desire to create my vision. Just close your eyes and just feel into that. Does that feel like a yes or a no? If it's a no, can you make it a yes? Just on the spot, why not? Just blow it up, make it a yes. Sharon, you need to just blow it up and make it a yes. Joe, you just need to blow it up and make it a yes. Then your brain will catch up and show you that you've done it later. Okay, everyone else is good. I believe that it's possible. Just close your eyes and say, I believe that it's possible. And then just write down, does that feel like a yes or a no? Joe, blow it up. It's a no for you. Just blow it up. Just decide. Brain will catch up later. We're going to do a tapping on this anyway. I accept that it's going to happen. So just close your eyes and say, I accept that it's going to happen. It's totally real for me. Just close your eyes. Say that. Is that a yes or a no? I accept that it's going to happen. It's totally real to me. You're all getting a yes on that from my perspective. So you can write down yes or no. I intend to do everything I can to make it happen. So try that one. Close your eyes. I intend to do everything I can to make it happen. Is that a yes or a no? Getting a yes. You guys are all really resourceful. I know that about all of you. You're all thoroughly dedicated. So that's all coming as a yes. The people that are on this call at the moment. I am that person already. So just close your eyes and just feel it. Say, I am that person already. I am that person already. If I look at my bank account, it might not tell me that I am, but right now, I actually am that person already. See what we get. Yes, 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 yes. You all got that one. Beautiful. Love that. Okay. I feel free and everything works out for me. So just close your eyes. This is the last one. I feel free and everything works out for me. Just feel into that. Getting a big yes on everyone here from my perspective on that. So let's just tap through and let's just do a final sweep through again. So we just want to anchor in an affirmation. Actually, we'll do an affirmation on this one. Let's clear an attitude on this one. Governing. So governing's about the governing vessels, the masculine energy, if you like. Jo would know a lot about this as well. She's a kinesiologist. This is the masculine. This is you in the world. This is your brain, the way you think, how you present yourself. It keeps you safe in the sense that it's going out there and it's doing stuff. And we just need to get an attitude in alignment with that. So let's have a look. This is a great one. This is a good final affirmation for Christmas too. So I want you to say, I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve. So that tells me you are at the end of this. You've got this now and we're just going to dissolve. We're just going to wipe it out. We've done all the whiteboard on it. We've worked everything out. We've, moved a few things around and now we're just going to wipe it out. Just say my sense of being driven, of rush, of clutter. My investment in the perspective of lack and limitation. my not feeling in the flow of life, my inflexibility and rigidity, my perfectionism into all embracing love. And make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively trust life by allowing myself to be in the flow of life. Surrendering to the reality of abundance and feeling at ease in every situation. It's exactly what we're talking about. Don't you love kinesiology? That's what I found out of everything here. This is the final affirmation. So I'm just going to say it again. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively trust life by allowing myself to be in the flow of life, surrendering to the reality of abundance and feeling at ease in every situation. Okay, anybody want to say anything about that? Anybody got anything to share on that affirmation?
I think it's pretty cool.
I'll actually take a shot of that and I'll put it up into the Facebook group.
Yeah, I think I was going to go look at my book and maybe read it a few more times.
It's governing, double masculine.
Yeah, right.
When the double masculine comes on, and that, when we think about that, that's the work, the goals, the da-da, we've got da-da-da. You got to go to this. You got to flip into this flow. When everything's really going really tough and you've got deadlines, you're worried about cash flow, you're worried about the future, that's what we're going to do. We're going to trust life. We're going to trust life, let it go. As long as we've done those 6 steps, we're not just going, I'm going to let it go. No, you've got to do those steps. You've got to do them continuously every day. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to stay with the program of the beliefs and the accepting and the behaving. But this is a piece that you just trust it. You just trust it's going to work out. Okay, so let's just do a final sweep on that. So just shut your eyes and just do a little tap down the front again. Just this feeling of trusting life, allowing yourself to be in the flow of life. Surrender it. Just surrender to the fact that what if there is abundance? Just surrender to that. You don't have to think about it. Just imagine, just surrender to the reality of it, that perhaps there's abundance for you. And feeling at ease in every situation. Just get a sense of that. That's good. Okay, anybody want to share anything before we kind of finish up? You guys know about the Clear the Fear classes. This is a platform. We're going to be doing this imagine what would happen if you did this every single week. I'm even going to be doing it in the holidays. Like, I'm committing to doing this for the whole of next year. No matter where I am in the world, I'll be jumping on once a week to clear whoever's in this platform. So, which is a pretty big commitment from me as well, committing to you guys. So it's really accessible for everybody. If you're not up for spending $111 US a month on clearing your mindset, maybe you're not ready to. You're not necessarily even with me, but if you're not ready to do that, then you might need to think about how serious you are about actually getting something off the ground and really creating something. And for you guys, it's 10% off. So message me and I'll give you a special PayPal link. We kick off on the 9th of January. That will be the 8th of January. So 2 weeks off over Christmas, and then we're back. So again, it's not coaching to do strategy and go a bit deeper. If you've already worked with me, obviously I can pick up things a bit quicker than if you haven't done the deeper program, but it's not really a place to come and get coaching on what's happening in business. It's more a place to just get really clear, so you can follow your own intuition and your alignment that you may have already set up with the work that we've done, or you're finding on your own way. So please unmute and tell me how you're feeling. How are you all going, and how's all things with you? And for all the people that have come to the recordings, I really appreciate you doing the 7 steps, and you too are able to get this deal. So please jump on.